Well, howdy everybody, and welcome to coverage of another game. This one is called Stardust Cosmic Nexus. My goodness, I'm sorry. Let me be up front, I did receive a key from Keymailer to review this game, and I'm going to do so just like that. This is a game that's actually released, so I have a little bit more info on it. It released June 24th of this year, and it is $15. It is a single-player collectible card game, and I think it's actually pretty good, honestly. There's a few minor bugs that I've had with it, but nothing major. Stuff like if you click off screen, you won't it'll just say error real quick, but you can fix that. This is the main overview of the game. This is the main map. I have about 5 hours in the game, but as you can see, there's a bunch of different people for you to fight. If you beat the one with this little mark on it, it will bring you to the next island, so on and so forth. Let's just go ahead and let's see here. I'll go ahead and show off. Let's go with the Plano decks. This is all of the different cards in the game. So there's about 200 in the game. As you can see, 8 times 25 is 200, and I think it is actually like... There's a good number of them. Basically, each element has its own set of small monsters, then medium monsters, and large monsters, and then there's a dark and celestial version of a lot of them. Game's pretty good so far. Let's get into it. I chose Venus because that is the Earth deck, and I like my geology. Turns out they're just defensive tanks. Not surprising. I'll show you my deck. Basically, you have 20 card decks that are very succinct. You draw through them 5 cards at a time, and you play those cards with an energy system kind of like Hearthstone, I think. Maybe? I haven't played Hearthstone. The way I view this game is it's a bit like a mix between Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels in terms of how drawing cards and stuff works, and then it's kind of like Hearthstone within the energy system, right? Overall, I think the game's pretty good. This is on Steam Deck, by the way. I am reviewing this on Steam Deck. It runs perfectly fine at 30 FPS, no stutter or anything. The thing that this game touts is that it has really short duels. It says complete duels in under 5 minutes or so. And also there is a turn limit of 16 turns, and then the victor is decided if nobody has won yet. You can talk to each character, you can battle them, or you can leave. You can also check out what decks they have. The level 1 decks are basically all just level 1 monsters of the same type. When it comes to building your deck, you can only have 3 copies of a card. Very sad, because I would definitely run 20 of one and 20 of another, and probably come out with decent results. I have shut off all the duel effects in the game, so like there's no cutaways for battle or anything, and that's just because those are genuinely kind of slow, and I would prefer the duels. I'm gonna make them fast anyway, just have them be faster. But we'll go over the general rules of this here. So I really like the little load screen guy, he's cute. But it is a set of 3 rows, or just 3 columns, I guess. There we go. You get 1 monster per column, and which column you place them in gives them different effects. Each player starts with 6,000 life. 6,000 life. I am going first, so I start with 1 SC and then 1 risk. RSC, not risk. I don't know what that's called, what it actually stands for. These are your cards, though. You can right-click on them to kind of show their effects. An effect happens in any block or in any spot that they're played in, or if you play them on top of another monster. Their overdrive happens in the Eclipse Zone. So for example, this guy drains attack when he is summoned of the opponent's monster. This guy increases your life points, and this guy gains shield. So it says give a shield that blocks an attack, and then his overdrive effect is make a solar ally immune. So we're going to play one of him here, but then we're also going to play one in the Eclipse spot to make my solar ally, which is the S column, immune. So all of a sudden, he has a block, and he can't be affected by statuses. Turn 1, or the first time you summon a monster, that turn, if you summon a monster to the field and then don't evolve them, they have timeout, which means they cannot attack. Unfortunately, you do skip your battle phase, or else that would have given me a free attack there, but that's okay. So these guys are all going to be timed out, they can't do anything. But their effect is to summon a copy of themselves, which is pretty cool, honestly. Then at this point, I have 2 SC, it goes up by 1 all the way up to a max of 6, and if you have any left over, it leaves it there. This guy will heal me, but I'm going to go ahead and play this guy first, and then pass my turn. This guy lost 100 or 200 attack, and only has 300 HP, so these two guys are probably going to be destroyed, and then we'll move on. Let's look at the cards real quick again. So HP and EP. HP is your health for your monster. If they're attacked, they lose health until they hit 0, and then they pass away, pretty much. EP is their attack power. I don't remember what EP actually stands for, so I don't quite know. This is an evolution. It costs 3 risk for this guy. In the middle, there's a blue circle here. This is the cost to play them. This is what level they are. This is their attack. This is their health. This guy makes your lunar ally immune, which means if you play this guy in the solar spot, then evolve him, or in the eclipse spot, the E column, then evolve him, your other 2 monsters will both be immune. If your slots are full, you can still play an effect, you can still play a card, and you only gain the effect of that monster. So this guy says gain 300 MG, which is your life point total. So it doesn't matter which slot I play it on, I gain 300 MG. Now, beyond this, you don't deal overflow damage to your opponent's life points, like in Yugioh. Instead, you need a status effect for that to work. And unfortunately, that's basically what this whole combat's going to be, is this right here. This combat's a little bland because it's a level 1 fight. What we could do is play this here. So even though I could evolve him, well, we can just evolve him, shall we? If you evolve into a monster, they don't get timed out, so you'll be able to attack this turn, but also they lost 400 attack. If your attack drops to 0 or your health drops to 0, you do disappear. Typically, it is hard to drop to 0 attack, except this one monster, Nendochi and Okinendo. They both lower attack based on the level of the monster. So I'm going to get some direct damage here. Both characters share the same graveyard. I don't totally know what the point of this is, but I think it might matter eventually. You can see, oh, actually, this is a good point. Some of these monsters, aka like this guy and this guy, they have different frames. The more you use a card, the better the frame gets. The cooler the frame gets is what it's supposed to be. So once you hit 50 uses, you get a silver frame. 100, you get a gold frame. And then I think it's 500 is platinum frame or something? Diamond frame? That's what it is. And then 1,000 is an emerald frame. As you can see, not much is really going to happen in this fight. That's just kind of how these level 1 fights go. Unfortunately, they're kind of bland, but I will, after this one, show off a not level 1 fight. Once your deck runs out of cards, you do just you reshuffle all your cards into your deck. And this is kind of important because the graveyard, some monsters have effects based on the graveyard. So the lower on the deck that you are into playing them, the better the effect gets, that sort of thing. But I mean, we're definitely going to win this one. I'm just wasting time. If we draw one more set of Baby Triceratops or one of the Okinendo, and then we do just win this duel. But beyond that, up here you can see there's a turn timer, so there's only 3 turns left, 2 after this, I think. Yeah. There we go. We win anyway, but if not, then in 2 turns the game would have just called the duel there, and then it judges based on that. Whoever has higher MG first is chosen to win, and then if that's a tie, it goes to number of monsters on the field, then if that's a tie, I have no idea what happens. After each duel, you gain a little bit of money and XP. And it's based on the difficulty of the fight that you had. Gold Stardust is used to buy packs, blue Stardust is used to build specific cards, craft specific cards. I actually really like a lot of how this game plays out. It's very quick, and it's easy to get into, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It gives me a vibe from a game that hasn't existed in a while, and it's kind of cool to see it here, right? So, These kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh style like card games, single player only, don't really exist much anymore. So here's an example, by the way. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Once you level up your opponent by, there is a little blue section right down here named Astrolink. If you beat them in a best of 3, you beat them twice in a best of 3, then they level up their Astrolink power and their deck gets stronger. So let's go ahead and find an Astrolink 4 character. You'll see that they have a much more complex deck. I am kind of bad at fighting specifically this deck anyway. We'll see how we do. Oh, and the field changes now. So once you get above like level 2, we unlock, so I'm going second, these effects right here in the middle. So there are now random effects that happen on turn 1, or turn 2, 4, and 6. Since this is turn 1, yeah, they're probably just gonna summon 2 of these guys. And then we get this effect. Both players get 1 RSC. Whoa, that's huge for me. Okay. That means I could just summon my level 4 guy if I wanted. That's really silly, I'm not gonna do it. Just really tempting though. However, what we can do is bring him to level 2 already, so he gets to attack. He won't be timed out on turn 1, and then we can also make him immune. So he can't be phased out or anything. There is a... let's see, phase out. There is a list of status effects in the overworld that you can look at to get a better breakdown of what's going on. We're going to take 1400 damage, that's totally fine by me. One player has a status effect, apply it to the other one as well. Yeah, so I should be able to summon this other guy, right? Yeah. This is a pretty big deal too. Our DPS is going to be incredibly high here. Like, we're going to be beating them up real fast. Then all we want to see now is hopefully we get a chance to get the level 2 block guy. Level 2 of this guy. Harimoru. So that I can't be phased out. Please don't devour me. No, wait, I'm immune to devour. I still lost that combat. That makes sense. Yeah. Sad. Oop, and double the EP of all level 1 planos on this lane. Let's see. 4. So I could do this. Pretty sure you can just skip to the higher level and it counts for you. Evolving. No, it doesn't. Nope. Whoops. Well, that's rough. Well then. I'm actually not the best at this fight, I won't lie. Oh, that's so scary. What's this guy do? Devour? Cure if there is 1 plano on the field. Cure seems so negligible, by the way. I gotta say. Cure is... okay, here we go. We got him at least. Cure just says if you have a status effect, remove it. But that's so situational. Are we above in health? We are actually above in health. What we could do is just stall here instead. But where's the fun in that, honestly? You stall instead because they have phase out as an option. If they phase you out, then you do just like... they can just attack over you. Like this, he was gonna try to phase me out here with this one, right? Phase out to the rival, so for the next 2 turns I would have been unable to be attacked over. Or I would have been able to be attacked over, just completely ignored. Okay, so I should be able to do this though. Bring in a level 2. He's timed out, but then bring him to level 4. And see, we've healed now quite a bit, on top of the fact that our monsters are strong. Oh, you've only got 500 HP left? Yo. That's not bad at all. We're gonna give him a shield though, just in case. Now we are not immune anymore, sadly, so they could just phase us out to attack over us, which I really hope they don't do. Oh, not that time at least. Get 2 RSC. That's crazy, though. Does this give you 1 RSC? Holy cow. think it's like reserve summon score or something, or summon count or something. I don't quite remember, honestly, unfortunately. Well, I guess for now, we just stack HP, huh? And we'll put a shield back on this guy, because he's getting beat up a little bit. Shield is incredibly powerful in this game, from my experience. If they don't phase you out, then they just can't get past Shield, pretty much. It's really hard to get multi-strikes, from my experience as well. I think they're fusions, right? I don't know what they just did. Alrighty. This guy is completely phased out, so... This guy loses this guy. There's no reason to even play that sort of thing. Like, we should just keep healing at this point, honestly. We don't need to worry about lowering attack right now, because we're gonna destroy all of their monsters this turn anyway. So I guess we give him shield so that if they evolve, they don't destroy him instantly. Yeah, that's a good idea. This guy's tanky, so we don't need to worry about him. And I think we win this now at this point. It's going to be very hard for them to get 4,600 damage on the... or 4,400 damage on the field to even tie us, let alone catch up. Yeah. I will say that getting to RSC means that they just get a bunch of free summons in effect. They just get to play out their hand every turn if they want to. Which is incredibly handy for them, but unfortunately, I built a stall/shield deck. I guess that's probably not even surprising if you guys knew how I played Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyway, we win here. This is the last turn. Combat plays out, then it ends, and we decide the victor. I have over double their health, let alone the fact that they have no monsters on the field anyway. That's kind of how the more complex battles play out. And you'll see you get a lot more XP and stuff for that. And by a lot, I mean I got 10 times in that case. When you rank them up, you get more. I think the idea is basically you go through all of these and just get a good taste of every card or deck playing, like, play style, and then you start leveling them, is what I think you're wanting to do. I did want to try out this thing. This is a fire monster instead, but it gains 50 EP for every monster in the vortex, so it gains 50 attack. You can't evolve it, so it's always going to be stuck. Timed out. But otherwise, this thing would probably deal massive damage. And the thing is, you could put this in any of your decks, and as an effect, instead of playing him on the field, you play him as an effect, and you grant something else 50 EP per monster in the graveyard. All of a sudden, when there's 25 monsters in the graveyard, that's a 1200 damage boost. That gets significant very fast. Alright, so what we're going to do... You make solar immune? Solar element. Well, that stinks. And we're just going to play a solar guy. Eclipse, so he's not timed out. And we'll play here. We're going to have to tank this first set, but beyond that, after that point, we're going to be like totally fine. Overwhelm him completely. Yeah, see right there, he's at 750. That's pretty good. After one turn, instead of 300, 500, 300. 500? Jeez, these things start out strong. Just level him up. And then everything's now just gonna start dying, so. Unfortunately, these level 1 astral fights kind of suck. And they're not very quick to get through. I think that's the big downside of this game. Like, it would be intimidating, except for the fact that, like, it just doesn't matter. Wow, and he gains 1,000 if he has a rival. This thing hits for 2350. That's stronger than, like, that's almost as strong as my level 3, like, 4 energy monster. That's hilarious. It just doesn't matter. Actually, at this point, I could just be ending turn every turn, and I would win this duel. So I guess that does make it under 5 minutes, bro. There's not a ton of strategy from what I've seen. You basically just choose an archetype of how you like to play, and you just go to town. You could probably build a super optimal deck. There is a little... There's a lot of things going on in my brain about this game. There is a thing such as fusion summoning and like ultimate summons and stuff. I haven't really gotten to any of those, but basically, you can mix some elements. If you do like water and earth, there's like a fusion monster that says you can gain up to 2 effects depending on if you tribute both of the other monsters that are both max level monsters already. Those ones end up being, I think, incredibly strong, but I haven't really gotten around to it much. So I have a lot to figure out on that part. I feel like if you could skip Astral 1, that this game would probably be a lot cleaner to get into. Oh, the other thing I'll note, the person that created this game, it is a 1 dev team. I think you saw that on my main menu at least. But he's working on another game now, if you give me a second. It is called Blue Hunter, and I know nothing about it. Let's see. I think it's, this one is more dark fantasy and Steam focused. Cool. I know, like, nothing about that game, but that's okay. Oop. Music cut out a little earlier than I thought. Let's see here. Is there any other news about it? Oh, okay. Okay, so the other game that they're working on will be starting very soon. Will be in alpha testing starting soon, so that's cool. Anyway. Hey, Nefesto. I don't know how long I've actually been recording. 22 minutes? Okay. You can actually kind of see the people behind them. I ran into... Is it this guy? Is this actually who it is? There's a bit of an introduction in this game. Maybe it is this guy, actually, yeah. But, basically, yada yada. 4 elements. You can learn to match them if you want. Go around the world and do it. It's very cool, but, once you collect some points, you can buy cards as well. And I think this is kind of where the game is missing a little, it feels like. I mean, the booster packs are nice, but, like, there's only 4, which is not an issue. For each 5 packs that you buy, you get a free booster pack, but if you buy 10, you get +3. And you can buy them in sets of 10 like that. We'll go ahead and buy 7/8. Show it off a little bit. You get 3 cards per booster pack. And these are the Thunder pack. See, it's summon a copy of this Plano? I'm curious if that means, like, you actually just get to summon 2 for the price of 1. That also seems pretty good. Like, these effects seem good and stuff. There's so much for me to experiment with, even at 200 cards. By the way, I think this card sounds incredibly good. Gain 1 SC, so his effect is he's a free summon. And it seems like that's what a lot of the Thunder element is about, is getting lots of free build-up and lots of free advantage like that, which I think sounds like a lot of fun. Plus, this guy's adorable. He's a little skull wolf. Sometimes when you're opening packs, you do have a chance to open dark versions. I don't think I'm going to see any here. I think a lot of the card design looks good, but maybe not all of them. I think this one looks kind of very silly, but that's okay. Gain 2 SC on the plate for each Plano on the field, excluding this one. You can only carry a maximum of 6 SC, so if there's even 2 other on your field, that guy refunds himself. That's pretty good. My HUD is a little bit awkward just due to me recording, but You can also buy the different starter decks, and it gives your characters a bunch of different outfits. Those of which I don't think really matter. If you are curious, there are more outfits than that, though, in the game. Than just 4. The 4 that you can buy. The starter decks. Apparently that one, I don't know where I got that from. Huh. It's supposed to be that if you beat a level 5 Astral of the Tower person, I thought you unlocked it. Maybe that's how you get these medals. And there might be something tied to that in the story, I don't know. But, this game's pretty good, honestly. I enjoy it quite a bit. Here we go. This will show you all the different effects of Astral level. Okay, Supernova. Yeah, so the number with the higher count of Planos, and then if that's tied, highest sum of Plano EP. And honestly, if there's a tie after that, then I don't see how you do that, really. But anyway, that about covers it. That's the basic gameplay loop and stuff. I actually rather like it. It's rare to have an option to have a collectible card game that's single player. It might have been nice to have a multiplayer aspect, but it focusing purely on single player is also something I like a lot, so I'm not even gonna bother with that, honestly. There's plenty of deck building design that you can do. Player expression through cards that you like, etc. You get nice rewards for using cards over and over again with different card skins. That's cool. I think it's a pretty decent game. For $15, you can get a decent playtime out of it if you're okay with the gameplay loop. That's really what it comes down to. If you're okay with, like, playing a slow style card game that also ends really abruptly. And there's a little bit of RNG when you get to higher levels. Unfortunately, those things in the middle that affected the field, those are random. Some of them are terrible. But beyond that, like, if you can get behind that idea, then I think you'd enjoy this game. And for $15, I think it's a good time. It's very much so a genre that doesn't exist very often anymore, so it's kind of hard to sell it, I think. But I do enjoy the game a lot. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, comment if you want me to cover something else, I guess. I can't guarantee that I'll cover anything specific, but anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.